Swing trading can absolutely break you, but it can also make you a decent amount of money to the point where you can buy a bunch of fancy stuff if you have the right strategy. My name is Phil. I've been swing trading for over 6 years, literally sharing my entire journey live, going from just swing trading with a couple $100 to now making a full-time income on just one single swing trade. Today, we are just going to remove all of the noise in order to take a look at 4 major swing trading setups, specifically focusing on small caps because they allow us to minimize risk while simultaneously offering substantial reward. But before we take a look at the chart, let's get rid of all of this. The first smaller cap stock which I'm looking at here is Hims & Hers Health, ticker symbol HIMS. And you can already see, and that's the nature with those smaller cap stocks, not a lot of history, so zooming out is not really an option. But this does not mean that those small cap companies do not offer good swing trading setups. In fact, we just approach it like every other swing trade. Monthly time frame, logarithmic chart, nothing else here, no indicators, no fancy stuff, really just the naked chart. First thing we always have to do before we look at anything else is determining the underlying trend. And here you can see that despite the massive correction of minus 75% over the course of the past couple of months, the underlying trend is still clearly towards the upside. Which already brings us to step number 2, time for us to identify structure. And here you can see, just like any other asset, perfectly following structure. Back in the end of 2023, you can see, for example, that we had a very simple bullish break and retest. Just the same behavior you can see back in mid-2025, previous resistance, after the break towards the upside turned support. We had the same thing in the end of 2024 when previous resistance after the break towards the upside was turned support, and once again in August of 2025 when previous resistance was turned support. By the way, this was just one of the small cap stocks I continuously shared inside the free Swing Trading Academy, first thing in the description, so you can go ahead and verify everything by yourself. Essentially, what we're waiting for is a retest of support. And since you can see that HIMS actually clearly sliced through this $23 support, no confirmation at all, you can see that the next major support is roughly at this $12 level. All we literally have to wait for is a retest of the previous support, which, since the market is approaching it from above, is still acting as support. And if HIMS then inside of this level actually creates third bullish confirmation, then it's quite likely that we will see a move higher. This is where the beauty of small cap stocks comes into play, because you can see that just a regular stock could easily move more than 100%. If you're playing it with some kind of leverage like options, you could easily double, triple, or even 5x your money if we see a potential move higher. Plain and simple, no distraction, just a clean desk and a clean chart and a very simple setup. Which basically already brings us to setup number 2. Duolingo, ticker symbol DUOL, monthly time frame, logarithmic chart, nothing on the chart, just candles. First thing we have to do right here, nothing changed, is we have to determine the underlying trend. And also here, while over the course of the past couple of months this stock was hammered minus 80%, you can argue that the underlying trend is still towards the upside, or at least overall sideways. Therefore, we can still look for potential swing trades. Step number 2, we then go ahead and take a look at support and resistance. Also here, you can see major support retested back in 2022, which was then followed by a parabolic 600% rally. Beautiful break and retest happening in the end of 2024 when we actually had previous resistance, after the break towards the upside turn support, and once again a parabolic rally. Last but not least, you can also see that Duolingo has perfectly been respecting this lower green support trend line, and once we actually saw the break in the end of 2025, it was totally expected that we see this correction. To be honest, this correction was quite harsh. I did not expect a correction of minus 70%, but obviously since there was no confirmation at all, no swing trade so far on Duolingo. In fact, what you could now wait for is a simple retest of the next previous resistance, which after the break towards the upside is turn support, which actually turns out to be at this psychological $100 level. Therefore, you can see Duolingo can still drop approximately 10 to 15% before it will then retest the major support. We then have to wait for some decent bullish confirmation, and then you can see that also on Duolingo there is a quite high chance that we might see a 70% rally, add some kind of leverage to it, and we will see a double, triple, or even 5x on this swing trade. Next one here, and you can see with those setups, pretty simple and straightforward. We don't have to waste any time with analysis since it's all super clear. OCLO, ticker symbol OKLO, monthly time frame, logarithmic chart, nothing which we're changing here. Also, before we do anything else, we quickly have to determine the underlying trend. Breaking it down to the bare minimum, you can see that recently OCLO has been rallying approximately 3,000%, and if this is not a bullish trend, then I don't know what to say. Trend is clearly towards the upside, which already leads us to step number 2. It's actually time for us to actually take a look at structure, and I just said actually twice, but actually this is pretty simple because you can see also OCLO perfectly following structure, major bullish break and retest in the beginning of 2025, just previous resistance, turn support, followed by a decent rally of another almost 1,000% towards the upside. We have the next previous resistance, which potentially on the retest is turn support roughly at this $40 level. Therefore, if you're jumping in right now, it's way too early. You should still wait for approximately a move of minus 35% before OCLO then retests this structure. You gotta wait for some type of confirmation, and if we see confirmation inside of this structure, OCLO could easily head back to this structure here at $75, or potentially even rallying to new all-time highs, move of 300%. Here you can see you don't even need any leverage, and you would still be able to catch a massive risk to reward ratio. Last but not least, we have SoFi Technologies, ticker symbol SOFI. And obviously with all of those first setups, I have to say that I'm just breaking down the bare minimum. You still need your technical analysis, your risk management, your psychology, your confirmation in place, and putting it all together into a proven swing trading strategy. But first of all, naked chart. Second of all, monthly time frame. Third of all, logarithmic view. No distractions on the chart, no Louis Vuitton boxes on the chart, just a naked chart. And we have to start by determining the underlying trend. Here you can see that exactly starting in the beginning of 2023, SoFi actually established a significant uptrend, rallied approximately 630%. Obviously, we have clear rules once again inside the Free Swing Trading Academy, as well as with Academy traders, but breaking it down to the bare minimum, the trend is towards the upside. Step number 2, after we successfully identified the underlying trend, we have to take a look at structure. Here you can see perfectly following structure, previous resistance, which after the break towards the upside, previous resistances turned support. We saw a decent bullish break and retest in mid-2024, followed by this parabolic rally. Actually another one just 1 year later in mid-2025, previous resistance, which after the break towards the upside was simply turned support, and you were still able to catch another rally of almost 200%. Now, objectively looking at the chart, you can see that we once again have previous resistance, which after the break towards the upside is potentially turned support roughly at this $17 level. Therefore, right now, nothing which you can do except for waiting for SoFi to retest this previous resistance, which then potentially, just potentially, could act as support. You still have to wait for bullish confirmation, and then you can go ahead and actually capitalize on the next rally. You can see that so far every bullish break and retest ended with new all-time highs, meaning that SoFi could rally roughly 100%, add a leverage to it with options, also easily 200, 300, maybe even 500%, and you're perfectly able to manage risk. As I mentioned, you can see it's pretty simple and straightforward. Analyzing all of those setups, it just took me literally a couple of seconds to immediately spot all of the levels. Also keep in mind that I've been doing all of this for the past 6 years, sharing everything live inside the Free Swing Trading Academy. First thing in the description. I'll see you in there because I'll also keep you updated regarding those first setups totally for free. With this literally speed run through the 4 swing trading setups, I just wanted to show you that swing trading is not difficult. If you have your proper strategy with proper confirmation, technical analysis, how to manage risk, how to manage your psychology, which vehicle you should use in order to enter a swing trade, in order to minimize risk while simultaneously maximizing reward. It's really just a game of probabilities playing out and doing the same stuff again and again and again. If you want to stay up to date with all of those setups, just click the first thing in the description. Join the free Swing Trading Academy. Now I just have a bunch of Louis Vuitton boxes laying around in my office for no reason. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, I will see you next week. And don't forget to simply keep your long-term vision.